Oh, it's over there. I'm looking for this. Look at this small camera. It's really easy to misplace. What I'm talking about is tiny. Well, I'm talking about just the camera. This is called Z Cam or Z Cam, which is an $800 Micro Four Thirds 4K cinema camera. Look at that. Just a box. Now you may have never heard of this Z camera or Z camera ever. Heard of Z or Z camera, because they are not really for most people. They are not really for most consumer or even people like us, prosumer. But here it is. This is E2 and this is E2C. I'm shooting. Right now I'm shooting the E2C. Right there. Look at that. I will talk about that more later. The iPhone on the top thing. Well, Z Camera is a company from Shenzhen, China. They do a few VR camera, and then their first actual camera is the E1, which is a really small Micro Four Thirds camera just for shooting video. And then later they have the E2 and several different versions of E2. Like this one actually shoots 4K, 120 frames per second. They have other E2 that shoot 6K, 8K, and then now we have the E2C. C stands for cheap. I think I never asked them what C stands for, but this is cheap. $800. $800. What do you get? $800. This is a camera for people who got the GH5, and then they think they are paying a lot of money for features they never used. For example, take still photos. This don't take still photo. A lot of people get the GH5, never take a still photo. And then the GH5 in-body stabilization, not everyone needs that. And then also the AF. I mean, the GH5 is not very good at AF, and some people get that and never use the AF anyway. Actually, this one got AF. I am using AF. I'm using the human tracking. It's not perfect. Well, actually far from perfect, but for this kind of camera, you don't usually ask for a very good AF. You do have one. It's probably going in and out of focus. Now this is two Z camera. This is the big brother E2. This is a smaller E2C. They are basically really similar. This is a little bit taller. That's it. Everything looks exactly the same almost. Now let's focus on the E2C first. It's just like a lot of other cinema camera that is really modular. I mean, when you get this camera, this is all you get. You don't have a viewfinder. You don't get a flip screen. You don't get a handle. I mean, you don't even have a handle. It's basically just a box. And of course, have I mentioned that? I forgot. Have I mentioned that? This is a Micro Four Thirds. Oh, this is a Micro Four Thirds lens. Micro Four Thirds sensor. Autofocus works. It got OIS if your lens got OIS. Of course, this kind of camera got a lot of mounting points. This is a quick release plate, not come with it. It's just a quick release plate I was using. I got a lot of mounting points. This is not even a horseshoe mount that comes with it. Got headphone and mic jack over here. Oh no, got blocked by the. Yep, there you go. Headphone and mic jack. The usual 3.5 millimeters. On the front, you got three customizable button, F1, F2, F3, and then the on-off button on the front. Pretty funny is that it got a screen up here. It's not just an information screen. Of course, you can just show information, or you can have live view here. This is a live view. This is a live view screen of the size of my watch, basically. Look at that. The watch probably got a bigger screen than that. So this will be your only viewfinder if you don't connect another one on it. But you don't absolutely need to buy a monitor. Spoiler alert, just use your phone. And then you got all the menu button, you set your shutter, you set your aperture here. You got the record button. Well, to say when you want to set aperture here, for example, it's not really convenient. You have to press that and then press up and down to set aperture, and then you have to OK and go to ISO. There's a lot of steps going between here and there. The menu, I have to say, really clear though. Really simple, really clear. This is not even the brightest setting, and it's really clear in this, at least this London cloudy day. In fact, other than the function button and the power button in front, even the up, down and OK button on the top are programmable. You can also save user profile and use a programmable button to trigger the selection. Actually, at the back is what things got exciting. Now you got like HDMI, of course. You got a USB cable. You got power in, good. You got a Wi-Fi antenna. Of course, that means that you can connect this with Wi-Fi. It's powered by this Canon battery that a lot of people got. You got a remote port here. You can control this camera. You can control aperture, shutter speed, a lot of things with this remote port. And you got a LAN cable port here, LAN port. This is what the interesting level goes up to 11 and more. Firstly, you can do live stream through this Ethernet. Whoa, proof of flat earth. No need to capture HDMI signal anymore. Secondly, in production environment, it could be powered by the Ethernet cable from over 100 meters away and fully control several of them remotely. For the rest of us, simple, it can simply go live with the phone app. There's no need to buy any hardware just to do live stream. Now you don't have 2 card slots, but you can use a Bob standard SD card. You can also plug in an external SSD via USB-C. Now of course you can set it up like when the beginning of this video show you that how you can mount loads of things on it, or you're customizing like a pro videographer. They want to have their own whatever wooden grip and viewfinder, whatever. But this could be really simple. It could be like just like that. And at the mic, you have loads of mounting points whenever you want to mount your mic. And then you need a viewfinder, of course. You can kind of shoot with this, but you can't. You can put on a phone mount and then use your iPhone as your viewfinder. Of course, you can use a actual monitor, Atomos, whatever, small HD. When I was shooting when I was shooting with this, when I setting up, because the wire is so long, I can bring the phone to me and then do all the settings on the phone. You can also use Wi-Fi, but of course Wi-Fi would be a little bit laggy. So this will be really great. Turn this on. Now on the app you got a lot of functions. Actually all the functions you can have. Over here you got loads of functions. 4K, 25 frames per second. Now what it can do is 4K, 25 frames per second. Doesn't sound much, but it do 10-bit. And this is a really great app. It doesn't have much lag. Just like you would have used a monitor, you have all the full color zebra, yeah? You have peaking, waveform, vector scope, histogram, and obviously you can set ISO, whatever, aperture. You got a mic input at the side, and you can flip it to front and then set the volume. Testing. Look at that, this is pretty cute. You just hold it like that. Oh, look at that, this AF. Human tracking AF, this is how it works. It recognizes a human body. It doesn't recognize a face, it recognizes a human body. I mean, does it really focus? That's another thing. Double tap to zoom in to focus. Yeah, it works pretty well with just a phone on top. Okay, let's shoot something. Actually, about shooting with this phone app, it is really great. As you may can see, it's really quite real time. There's not much lag at all. It probably isn't as much lag as if you use a HDMI display. HDMI display got lag as well, which is similar to this. And you don't have to buy this. You always have the phone. Everyone got a phone. I mean, this is probably the first default app came from a camera that actually works well. So when it's ready to shoot, just tap the record button. Like I mentioned, I probably won't get this camera because it's really not suitable for what I do, because it doesn't have image stabilization. I really need image stabilization. OIS in these Panasonic lenses is just a just correct a little bit of shaking, that's all. Not really good for handheld. And I don't think it's focusing on my face right now. It's really more for like documentary, it's more for like run and gun when you have, you probably have to break it up, make it a bit bigger, easier to hold like that. And of course for this size, good for gimbal, drone and tight spaces. Okay, let's look at color profile. This is the Red 709 profile. You can of course tweak it a bit in camera. Unlike most mirrorless camera, it can be set to quite flat already, and there's plenty of room for color correction, just with the 709. Next, we have flat profile, and it is pretty flat, surprise! It is a good middle ground between the Red 709 and the next one, which is Z-Log. It isn't actually much less contrasty than the flat, but much less desaturated, although somehow I think it renders color better. Last, we have HLG. For other mirrorless camera, I love HLG for it's easier to color correct, but this camera, since even the Z-Log is really easy to correct, I don't think I will use HLG unless of course if I really need to shoot HDR content. Something a little bit disappointing, while the more expensive E2 uses the full width of the Micro Four Thirds sensor, which is 2 times crop compared to full frame, the E2C has 2.3 times crop compared to full frame. Rolling shutter is quite noticeable. Well, sorry about the out of focus footage, but you get the idea. So this is a Z-Cam E2C, a 800 Micro Four Thirds cinema camera. It doesn't have big numbers on the spec sheet. It only shoots 4K 24, 25, 30p. Instead, it has incomparable color for the money. Skin tone is great. It's just nice color science and it's so easy to color correct. It's also a live stream ready machine, either with Ethernet or just through your phone. And yes, the phone app. When major camera manufacturers simply look at phone app as something like a toy for consumers, Z-Cam make an app that's really make use of touchscreen to create a camera interface that's easier to use than any camera out there. Even the Z-Cam itself only has a screen smaller than an Apple Watch. Also, with features like waveform, peaking, low-budget shooter can really simply use a setup like this. Second-hand lens and all that to get image that beats any mirrorless camera out there.